Hello everybody, my name is V. Narendra Kumar and we are from NRK Academy. And today we have got this mini course with a few videos, a series of videos which we are calling How the World Works. How the World Works. So every person has an idea about how the world kind of works for him. He has a certain perspective and there's nobody in the world who doesn't know anything about the world. It would be absurd. But every person has a certain idea about the world and it is quite broad. In two levels. One is explicit, one is implicit, inside. Like if somebody tells him, okay, he'll say, I know. It comes out mostly in movies, like when people respond to any kind of movie. So obviously everybody knows everything on some level or the other. But explicitly, in terms of conscious knowing, feeling comfortable in the sense of becoming obvious. You understand? There's certain areas where you're comfortable. I'll take a very simple example. A person who is a good cook would be very comfortable, more than comfortable. He'll be very associated with it'll be almost part of his system when he's, let's say, cooking. He's a chef, let's say, and the way he cooks, the oil and everything, he's very comfortable with those concretes. This is called abstractions or knowledge made concrete, familiar, associative, comfortable, and I would add, there's a certain feeling attached to it. So that's what we are trying to do for fun, totally for fun. Can we feel all these things which people talk about and get to know the world? So obviously the first part is our past, because whatever we see around us is a result of our past. What are you as a person also is the result of all the choices you made, all the things that you learned, all the books that you read, all the movies that you saw, all the influences you had, all the relationships you had, all that adds up. And today when I see you, you are the result of all that. Obviously the world is also like that. So we start with our past. So the long past, universe. How do you concretize universe? Nothing. Go out in the night sky, especially in a clear sky, in a wild place, and look up at the sky. You will feel it if you observe with sharp eyes. Countless stars, though they're very close together, and that's only the Milky Way. That's what scientists tell us. The sky, night sky which we see, you can feel it like countless, you can't count them. Such billions of stars are there. How do you concretize this incredible universe? 100 billion stars, 100 billion, 1 billion is 100 crores, 1,000 million. How do you concretize that? How do you concretize the fact that we are living in a huge universe? It is just a feeling, when you see those countless stars and you read more and you look at the system, then you understand the distances, you get very funny feelings. So it's just a feeling of the incredible size of the universe with a little bit of knowledge added. So that's where you have to slightly understand the Big Bang, how it formed, how galaxies are formed. So galaxies are formed, stars are formed simply by coming together of hydrogen and other elements close together, and you must concretize this fact by rubbing your hands that when there is friction, there is heat. That's what we study in physics. When there is friction, anybody can understand this. When there is friction, when you rub your hands or when there's a tire moving on the road, it becomes hot. Like that, it becomes very hot. And when heat comes, very high temperature of heat comes, almost like 10 million degrees centigrade. Something happens to the atoms. There's something called atoms. We've read all that in the school. The atoms start fusing into another atoms. Hydrogen becomes helium, helium becomes lithium, and all these things start exploding. It's like actually literally hydrogen bombs or atom bombs which was thrown on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Exactly that, but billions of such atoms are exploding in those stars, and that's where they shine, though they are very far, and that's why the sun gives so much heat and light. So there is a wonder sun, which is also a star. Definitely there are stars in the night. Definitely there are more shining stars than actually planets. So that much is enough to understand in a short course. Then now you can go and concretize each of them. You can look at Venus, you can look at Mars, you can go, such number of videos are there. So this short course is like a guide map for you to go deep into any extent to any topic. So you have these stars, universe, galaxies. Galaxies are, these stars start attracting each other, start moving around each other, and the galaxies are also moving. Why are they moving? Because when the Big Bang happened long back, 13 billion years ago, 13 billion years ago, not 13 years, 100 years ago, 13 billion years ago, there was a Big Bang, and that time, that motion which was initiated never ended, and the stars start forming, and the stars start forming around each other. They form galaxies. Galaxies start moving around other galaxies. There are shapes of galaxies, types of galaxies. This whole concept. The concept is very simple, and I hope this much of concretization is actually enough. Then we come to Earth. Solar system was formed, and Earth was formed. It was very hot before. It's like slowly it cooled, and there was no life, but there was Earth. The seas, deserts, seas, mountains, and we know how the mountains were formed by the tectonic plates. The Earth is inside the Earth. You have all this core and mantle. It's all liquid, and this is also we have to concretize. We can concretize by seeing volcanoes. Actually, volcanoes are lava coming from inside. So from where is it coming? Obviously, inside the Earth there's something hot going on, and we can also concretize by understanding that the Earth was hot once, and Earth is a magnet. We know that the heat inside is actually charged iron. Molten liquid iron is charged, and inside it's moving round and round. When charges move, one more principle I'm giving of physics, when charges move, it creates a magnetic field, and that is why Earth is a magnetic field. This much of concretization is enough. Now we can go and concretize why Earth has magnetic field, why Earth has mountains, why Earth has deserts, plains, rivers, seas. How did the seas come? Why there's a moon? It was cut from the Earth and it started moving around Earth like a satellite, Really almost like a satellite it was formed, but it's formed naturally. So we have come down to Earth now, and then life came. How do you concretize life? I think the way to concretize life is to simply look around and see a cat or a dog, really, or a lizard, or a bird, or plants. They are all around you, and also you, coming of man, or woman, and woman. So I'm using man, and when I mean man, I mean also woman. So millions of species of life, and we are life. Of course, it's difficult to concretize this fact for another reason, because the beliefs of God and beliefs of something other than this world, and we'll go into that, what is so deep-rooted, including in me, that it takes a while. It takes actually a lot of knowledge also a bit, and also to be away from people who are in these cults and look at the world fresh, and you can actually feel and experience the joy of being human being. And this is a topic which is a little philosophical. We'll come forward when we go ahead into beliefs. So we come to the topic of beliefs later, but as of now we can understand that nobody can deny that there is life all around. There is you and me. It is wondrous, agreed, but there it is, and it is a fact. How did this come about? So this came about by certain chemical reactions. Then it started mutating. It's one life mutated over millions of years and came out with another life, snakes, birds, reptiles, you know all that. Mammals, we have read the whole chapter of biology, let's say 6th to 10th class. If you read it now properly, with proper videos, and you can look at this Ettenborg videos, you will understand and feel. You have to feel knowledge. Yes. And you will feel knowledge, as I said earlier, when this abstract thing becomes concrete. So now it's a short course, it's a guide map, we'll go ahead. So you have, then when man came, he was the early man, he started moving around. He doesn't know how to make food, he doesn't know anything. So he gets moved in groups, he found very crude ways, and his inner nature started coming out with paintings and languages and mutterings, his discovery of his own hand power, tools. And then one day he discovered that you can actually plant seeds and you can actually live in one place like how we are doing today. Think of a village, you'll understand early man, that agricultural revolution. That around 10,000 BC, let's concretize that. Now it's 2022, 10,000 BC, 12,000 years back, all these people happily settled in countless villages all over the world. And it's strange that all over the world it came at the same time. And you also remember that man evolved from the ape, and slowly the evolution slowly gave rise to a man with a thinking capacity, emotional capacity. You have to accept that. How do you accept that? Don't deduce it. Look within you. You have thoughts, you have emotions, you have a nature. That's the only way you have to accept it. And that's what philosophers also say. What is? The modern philosophy says what is, accept what is around you. Of course, there's not only one opinion. We'll come to that soon. Because once you have to understand belief systems, otherwise you can never understand history or politics or the world. So coming of civilizations come because villages start getting connected. People don't keep quiet. Maybe one of the things we have to understand about man is that he can't be content with little because of his power, that's all. So either the power goes to the constructive ends or the destructive ends, and I think in this sentence lies the whole history. Constructive ends or destructive ends, this energy can't be stopped. So his energy took him towards creating ancient civilizations, this Egyptian, the Sumerian, Indus, we know that. The Chinese, all over the world, large empires came into existence, and it's like almost like today the urban cities and trade, people giving and money, the invention of money, the invention of writing, the invention of music and painting and culture and traditions and rituals and living with some entertainment, all that we do today in a more broad and more, what should I say, sophisticated and more incredible way. Even that time there was these ancient civilizations. In the ancient civilizations itself, all these things came. That slowly led to leisure. Now, once you have leisure, man can, when I say man, I mean few men only. It's very interesting that very, very few men, I would say 300 or 400 people, thought all their life deeply and came out with discoveries about the world, which led to implementation, which led to technology. So discoveries lead to science and better ways of living, like better systems, democracy, all that. Then the Greek civilization came, Vedic civilization came, Chinese civilization came, and it is in these civilizations that the foundation of belief systems were laid out. And Greek, Roman, and after that we know, after Roman, the Christianity took over, there was a dark ages, that we know. So now we come to the foundation of belief system. This is very important as a general knowledge course. How the world works is a GK course. So obviously Hinduism is one form. Hinduism says there are many systems of Hinduism, but Hinduism does not believe in a creator. It believes that there is a higher state of mind, as far as I understand it, which yourself merges with the universal self or Brahman. And that happens when you go beyond your mind and body in a certain state of bliss. That's it. And that happens when you remove your I feel. The way I interpret it is remove your pseudo-self. The pseudo-self, the ego as religions use the word. And you achieve this. It's like a pure free state of a child in a man. I feel it's as simple as that. People make a big issue of it. The same concept, I think, Buddhism and Jainism, I have not mentioned there, Jainism took over, but with a different terminology, I feel. It's all about terminology. So Buddhism calls that state as nirvana. It also doesn't talk about any this thing. So all this yoga, everything, yoga, tantra, Kama Sutra, all this music, especially music and dance, extraordinary music and dance, is for you. While singing, you become free and reach bliss. And that they call so-called God. And later, those gods became real gods in a crude mass way, which is very sad. And there's a debate going on right now in India, raging debates about what is really Hinduism. So that we leave it to the social media. Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism. Judaism is this religion whose root was in the Moses. We know the story of Moses, and they have a certain belief system. Judaism was expanded into Christianity, and Christianity was kind of led in a way, indirectly, in personal terms, through Muhammad to Islam. So we have these major religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, people who believe it are Jews, Christianity, Islam. But that was not all. People think only religions give us belief systems. No. There are philosophers also who do. So we have Plato, Aristotle, Stoics. So these are the three great philosophers in the ancient times. So Plato said that there is he also saw something like Hinduism. Like there is some state of mind where, you go into, and what we are looking around is not real. Remember, people do say that what we are seeing around is not real. We are not supposed to take it literally. It is just a belief system which talks about a deeper state of mind in the mind which can lead you to a bliss. It doesn't mean you literally deny the table I'm seeing in front of me or door which, but they do say that explicitly. We can't deny that also. So we have this Plato. Aristotle was a scientist. How? He said, look at the things around you, start observing, classify them, and that's why he was the father of biology. And he also gave all these terms. He practically, Aristotle tried to give explanations for everything, and I think he was one man who caused the whole wonderful living we are doing today. That's my view, because he introduced scientific way, logical way, rational way, that there cannot be an effect without a cause, removable miracles. In one sense, Aristotle ended history at that time only. And that is a wonderful feeling, and happiness, natural, normal feeling, happy feeling, all these are rooted in Aristotle. And Stoics talked about life as suffering actually. and we should be very strong. So that's also true. There's a truth in every philosophy. But at root, every philosopher or religion is talking about happiness, bliss, and in the core sense, they're talking about that, but there are many variations on that. And Aristotle and Plato you could call the two archetypes or two types of philosophers. One says there is another world, Aristotle says this is the world, and the battle goes on. After the Dark Ages, when Christianity came into power, they became very corrupt and they burnt all these Aristotle's books. We know that we can go deeper into each of these topics. You can take each of these topics and check it out on the net. And the Renaissance came. From the Renaissance came greater thinkers, Bacon, Descartes and Voltaire and many more. And scientists came. Copernicus, Galileo, Newton, all great scientists, Maxwell and Faraday. It went on, it has not stopped from that time. And all romantic writers came. Suddenly man became free. And he became inductive. INDUCTIV. He became inductive. He became experimental. He became mathematical in the sense that you can use it as a power. He became powerful. That was a big turning point. And from there came modernistic philosophers. But remember, modernistic philosophers are also not fully clear because religion was deeply inherent. Even now it's inherent in all of us. We can't be totally atheists. So that comes Hume and Kant and Hegel and Marx and Locke and Russel, Sartre, Wittgenstein and Williams. This is all the modernistic philosophers. It is a good idea to study each of them, the essence. Essence is very simple. Of all these modernistic philosophers, they were trying to grapple with this explanation about the world. They were also not wrong. Each in their own way was trying to, again, give some kind of an explanation. But their explanations were very non-religious, so they had to give kind of, each person in his own way, personal way also, had to give some kind of explanation about the universe. And this also replaces religious beliefs. So this also had an impact. But science took on a different route, according to me. So there was the age of enlightenment, the post-Kantian dissent. I'm using the word dissent because the philosophy became very, very vague and obscure. Try to read philosophy. Many people say loonies read philosophy. But actually this became vague only because people are trying to grapple with the religious and the modernist beliefs. You ask a person, what is the world? He will say, there is this world and there's some other world. That's all it is. That's all it is. This kind of a duality is there in every philosopher. But mankind went ahead. He formed countries. He formed the age of enlightenment. And capitalism, industrial revolution, imperialism, inventions, businessmen, privatization. This is one kind of an angle which people see. So obviously don't take it too strictly. So capitalism is a system where everybody is free and everybody can trade, everybody can start their own industries. The root of capitalism is that leave us alone, laissez-faire capitalism they call it. Leave us alone, government should not intervene. That is when the American Revolution happened, the French Revolution happened, and America was born, and it showed how rich you can be, how free you can be, how productive and you can be, how you can excel in every field. America is a living example, and all the capitalist countries are obviously very rich, at least materially, and I would say in terms of opportunities, and I think even in terms of happiness, comfort, security. These are very positive things. We don't have to believe just because some people attack capitalism doesn't mean we have to attack it. Just because some people attack communism completely, we don't have to attack it. We have to see the good points in each, and that's my view. Be holistic. So capitalism, industrial revolution, imperialism obviously is very bad because it was a domination of the Western powers over the colonial countries like India, South Africa. All these countries were colonized by the major superpowers, and actually that kind of a competition led to the World War I and World War II, and we have come to the modern world now. So this is how the privatization, the world grows. Now when you look at the world today, that we'll do in the next video. The 18th and 19th and 20th century till today we'll do it in the next video. And now in this, the next video we'll see and look at the world directly and see why the world or how the world works as it works. Why is it what it is? Because there's no actually mystery to this world. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next video with the topic broadly 18th, 19th and 20th century till today. And this is a mini course. Only topics I have put. Every topic you can go deeper, but if a guide map is given, like it was given to me by some of my very advanced and very highly erudite and brilliant and genius-like friends, which helped me also to grow in a better way. So I'm hoping that this will help you as a teacher. That's my desire and wish. So we'll meet in the next video with 18th, 19th and 20th century till today. Thank you so much.